Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I still got to do something about this glare on my forehead, but then you can't see the comic, can you? How's that? Nope, that looks weird. Okay, we'll split the difference. How's that? All right. So, how's everybody doing this morning? This is 10 o'clock a.m. on which is September 1st. Oh man, mortgage is due. Okay, so I'm waking up roughly. I went to bed early last night. Apropos of nothing, went to bed at 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night. My wife was making fun of me, called me a nerd, and I slept. Oh my God, did I sleep so good? I don't know. I set my alarm for 9 o'clock, and then I slept through it. And so I only woke up like 15, 20 minutes ago. Coffee hasn't activated yet. Brushed my hair with a real wet brush, so I look like a freak. And ready to go. Ready to start the day. How's everybody? I already see that that Haldir has my link already. My Kickstarter only has 2 days left. Kickstarter has 2 days left, and then there'll be, I don't know how many days you will not be able to get my comic. And then I'm hoping that this Friday coming up, I will be able to do a launch party for my Indiegogo. Genuine Comics is here. Hey, Genuine Comics. I just spent a good chunk of yesterday reading all the Genuine Comics that I did not read yet. I really liked, I don't want to reach over there, knock over the pile. The anthology series that had a Man Devil and American Bliss, and I really liked American Bliss #1. I did not read Earthling yet because I'm still holding out hope that I'll be able to get 1 to 3. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Dave Brink has his own company, Genuine Comics. He has a comic live right now on Indiegogo, Perfect 10, which is just a wonderful comic. I really like what Perfect 10. It's available right now. I'm waking up, guys. Forgive me. Hey, Marcus, how you doing? Marcus is throwing out the link to my Kickstarter. A few people have asked me if the Michael T. Gilbert cover is funded. Yes, it's funded. My comic was already funded before it went on Kickstarter. Kickstarter was just another venue. It funded on Fund My Comic like the first day. Now, the reason why it funded is because I already paid for everything before the comic went launched. So, it was already paid for. So any dollar, once it launched, that money was just going to recoup the losses. So even if I only made $10, it was going to happen because the comic was already paid for. So as of right now, between the two platforms, I've broken even. Yes, making a comic book is expensive. It's especially expensive when you're a rookie and don't know what you're doing and make a lot of mistakes. So Indiegogo going forward is, I'm hoping, like profit for next issue. Although everything really is for next issue because I'm just taking it on the arm. Torchbearer Studios, how you doing? Torchbearer Studios has a comic coming out called Thug. He's working diligently on it. All of a sudden, my brain went blank. I like the follow him on Twitter. He every once in a while he'll put up a real cool image from his comic. It's pretty cool. Playing nursemaid to sick. Oh, your wife is sick. A good husband. My wife let me in on a little secret that she actually enjoys taking care of me. I was like, oh, okay, the cat's out of the bag. I'm going to act more helpless. No, I don't do that. When I don't feel good, I just want people to leave me alone. Just go away. Like when I went to the hospital for the old neck injury, I told my wife, don't even come to the hospital. Don't come. Don't, when I had the hernia surgery, I was like, don't come. I don't want to. I just want to sit there and stew in my own juices. Perfect 10. Oh, thank you. And Power Trip. That was the name of the other book. I couldn't think. My mind was blanking. New Hales. Old New Hale. Let me get that book. This Star Wars book you want, or my book? This book. This isn't the copy I bought off the shelves. I'll talk about that in a minute. So This book is pretty expensive. This is the first printing too. Hey, David, how you doing? Oh, always. You earned them. You earned them. You know, first off, I like it. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I like everybody. And then second off, that the comic is really good. I'm going to say a weird compliment for Perfect 10. Perfect 10 has the best of 90s image art, but it has good writing. So I know right now there's like an image, a 90s. Oh, my glasses are so foggy. I know right now there's like an image revival going on, and everybody's into Image Comics. But come on, everybody, you don't have to copy Image Comics so perfectly in the fact that they're garbage writing. But Dave Brink he's if you ask me, he's doing good Image in the fact that it like this storytelling, this connective tissue between each panel, stuff that Image was sorely lacking. Image Comics, in my opinion, each panel was well drawn, but it had nothing to do with the panel before. You know, it was drawn by like 18, 19-year-old kids it was like some of them was like their third project or second year in the business. So, but Dave Brink has beautiful, you know, panel, but each panel is connected. The storytelling is excellent, and the writing is really good. So there you go. I can't recommend Genuine Comics enough. I was making sure I said that properly. I have the Dutch edition of this comic somewhere. Star Wars. Okay, you want my Star Wars comic? Okay, I wouldn't fight you. You're in good shape. I just hope you don't know where I live. When I get caught up on the chat, I'll talk up. I'm only collecting a backlog of Spawn Star Wars. Oh, you're collecting a backlog of Spawn. Star Wars is next. Okay. Dave's characters look so good. They do. Oh, and Project Analysis. I'm being a bad host right now. Project Analysis. This guy is the hustler. Like I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I'm joking and predicting that like in 10 years from now, we're all going to be working for Paul over here. Paul is a hustler in the best sense of the word. He came on my channel because his comic looks so good. You know, his comic looks professional, just slick, professional. I haven't read it yet. I just ordered it. It's one of those embarrassing things. I thought I backed it, and then I found out that I didn't back it. You know, so I just backed it with his most recent campaign. Looks awesome, but this guy, you know, I'm 3 times his age, and I'm learning from him about like go to conventions, pressing the flesh, meeting people. You know what I mean? This guy, I wish I had half of his energy. I have less than half of his energy. So yeah, Project Analysis is another comic to check out. You know, I'm just so upset that we were literally at the same party and didn't get to talk. I was never into Image Comics except for Max. Max is excellent, and Walking Dead, but that's too long. Well, when I'm talking Image Comics, I'm talking like early, you know, like 92 to 2000. That was to me was like a rough period. They produced a lot of comics, but most of them were bad. 2000 to 2010, they were like probably the best comic book company as far as quality wise. I thought they were excellent. Nowadays, I what do they say when you're typing, when you hunt and peck typing? That's what I do with Image Comics these days. I hunt and peck. And to be honest, I'm not actively looking for new comics to collect. I'm actively looking for less comics to collect because I'm happy getting back issues and I'm happy getting independent comics. Let me clarify that. Mainstream comics, I'm looking for less comics to collect. Long Island, going to Google. Okay. Yeah, well, Spawn #1 to now. Spawn #1, you could get pretty cheap. I remember my girlfriend in Albuquerque owned a comic book store. She was giving away Spawn's #1. Like if you came into the store and she took a liking to you, she would give away copies of Spawn #1 because they printed so much and so many people bought them that they're pretty cheap. At least they were, you know. So I don't know if anybody's selling Spawn #1s for like a lot of money. I'm not even joking. People used to give them away. Yep, Paul is a good guy. Hey, Prater 7, good to see you. If memory is playing tricks on me, I haven't seen you in a while. Project Analysis, how saw that 90s look? Yep. Yes, yes, yes. Two great creators have boosted. I got to say, I have the most pleasant chat out of. I mean, I know I'm biased because it's my chat, but no drama. We just like comics. I think out of all the chats, if I may be maudlin here for a minute, I think out of all the comic book shows that I frequent and join and watch, I I think we're the most comic book focused because, quite frankly, I think I'm the most comic book focused. You know, I woke up, my alarm went off. I tweeted, Star Wars in 40 minutes. I made my coffee. I sit down and I went on Twitter to see what's happening, and it's Eric July this, EVS this, you're a pedo, you're this, you're a detractor. I'm like, isn't anybody talking about comic books? I don't want to talk about. And if we're talking about comic book creators, I want to hear that like George Perez is being recollected and John Byrne is coming out with a new comic. Press the Flesh, sponsored by Express. There's the title of your autobiography. There you go, Paul. Press the Flesh by Paul. I don't want to say your last name in case you don't want to. Oh God, this coffee is perfect. As always, Tim Hortons delicious coffee. Spawn right now is one of the best books you could get monthly. Oh yeah, Joe Sontag is talking about it, and it got me curious because I collected Spawn. I think 1 to 20 I got off the shelves, and I lost interest. And at that point, I was collecting so many comics, and I was going through a real broke period. And I forget when I went back, but I went and I got back issues. So I'm up to 63. And I remember liking it. So at one point, some point, I'm going to go back and get 64 on. But I have to read them in order. And apropos of nothing, I just finished the Fantastic Four. So the last issue that I read of Fantastic Four, because I missed a couple of issues and I wanted to refamiliarize myself with the Tom DeFalco run, was the issue with 416. The next issue was Heroes Reborn. So I'm all caught up with Fantastic Four. So then I looked, I had the next whole series, I had that next short series, and I'm just about to start the James Robinson run. So there you go. Breath Book is amazing art. I had to unfollow him on Twitter because he posts nothing but politics. Nothing but politics. You got 6? What do you mean? Spawn 1 to 6, or you just have the number 6? Hello, Logic. My apologies for being too passionate. Oh no, don't apologize. Don't apologize. Marcus is cool. We all know that we're passionate about comics. You were polite. You were fine. Everything was fine. Matter of fact, I would love us to be a little bit more passionate about comics rather than drama. And Logic, you were fine. And Marcus is a big boy, but I think I can speak for Marcus in saying that you were fine. You were fine. Don't worry about it. Who's the colorist on Project? Yes, there you go. I love that you guys are helping each other out. Oh, you were looking for CGCs. Okay, CGCs. To me, CGCs are radioactive. Those aren't comic books. Those are plastic trading cards, oversized plastic trading cards. Brett Booth used to be a great friend. Is there a story there? Did you fight over politics or you just lose touch? Losing touch, I can understand. You see, okay, Marcus. I've said worse to Marcus. and colorist is Prasad Rao. And yeah. Yeah, the project there. I haven't read them yet. Full disclosure, I backed. I backed like give me all of it tier at his last thing. So when I get it, I used to. There you go. Somebody else picked up on that. He hates Christians. We're best. Less said the better. Less said the better. Oh, you bought it for $2.99? I don't know if we're having the same conversation. I probably have the largest collection of original Brett Booth art on the planet. Just start at $350. Spawn $350. Yeah, it was a wasteland for a while, but I'm a completionist. It's night and day. They're introducing characters that established Spawn. 1 and 6. Okay. Oh, you have copies? Okay. I have close to the first 30 pages of Vampire Squad finished. Is that your comic, Grey Wolf? Are you talking about your comic? If so, yeah, come on my channel. Let's talk about it. I'm going to get like 5-issue slab when I go to New York Comic Con. Of what? Of what? I should be getting Dark Dive Volume 7. It's one of my favorite current mangas. Cool. I don't know enough about manga. And this is going to sound weird, but I don't want to know more about manga because then I'll get sucked down another rabbit hole. And, you know, I've been out of work and I will be out of work for a while now. I went to the specialist on Friday. Hail, John. Hail, chat. Hope you're all having a blessed day. Good. Now I can relax when I get my blessing. That's true. I've said worse. John's going to like Project Now. Okay. I'm sure I will. I'm sure half the battle is, you know, I met the guy, you know, the comic looks good. It's well packaged. You know, you're 75% there. All Spawn issues are $2.90. Oh, the current prices. Oh, the right now issues are $2. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. Wow, the comments are coming in really fast. I got a lot of people. We could have a whole conversation about Speculator's comic. Yeah. I'm not a fan. The only comic you just made me laugh. The only comic that I ever speculated, meaning I was like, oh my God, I can make money off this comic. When it came up on the shelf, actually it was on the spinner rack, was Tarzan #1. You know, back in 1978. I said, oh, this could be worth a lot of money. So I bought one to keep and one to sell. They're both still in the bag in my room. Yes, my project, The Vampire Squad, Renfield book 2. Cool. Send me go on Twitter, send me a message, and come on here and we'll talk about it. Hating Christians should be shown the same as hating other. Yep, absolutely. You know, did the doc look at your neck? Okay, I might as well talk about it now since somebody asked. So Friday, I went to the specialist, and my wife was like, "Can I come in with you?" And I prefer when my wife comes in because she remembers all the little details. You know what I mean? So she came in, we sat down. I already almost lost my temper filling out the paperwork, but that's me. So and then we went into the room, lost a couple more pounds. That's good. Sat down. The nurse came in, did my blood pressure, did the same thing. Your blood pressure is good. I look like a guy who should have bad blood pressure. You know, they all do the same thing. I already told my wife, don't say anything, but this is what's gonna happen. She almost burst out laughing. And then the doctor came in. This woman doctor came in, and she came in with a serious look on her face. And this is the second time in my life that I met a doctor that just commanded respect. You know, like in D&D terms, she had a high charisma. You know, charisma doesn't necessarily mean good looking. She had a high charisma. So she just came in and commanded respect. And she looked at me and she goes, "You have no idea how lucky you are." And that just stopped stopped all the goofiness. And she showed me the pictures of the crack in my neck. Now, when I was in the emergency room, they said it was a hairline fracture. So I'm picturing a little hair, like the thickness of a hair that you can't see. You know what I mean? Like if I was to put a hair across my arm, you'd be like, oh yeah, I think I can see it. She showed me the pictures. Oh my God. It wasn't a hairline fracture, unless hairline fracture means different things to different doctors. And it's not just like a smooth, it like zigzags throughout. And she says the C2 vertebrae, there's a little tiny vertebrae just under your brain, and then there's a big vertebrae underneath that. So this is like supporting the brain, and then there's 2 arteries that go by in your spine, and this is all correct. She goes, you see these, the 2 that'll hold on to the artery. She goes, these could break, and if those break, your artery's gone. She goes, you're dead before you get into the ambulance. She goes, you could stroke, you could bleed, you know. She goes, or you could. She goes, and it's just fractured over here, and it's like in pieces. She goes, you take that brace off, you could break the spine. She goes, you got to wear this for at least another month. So I thought I was a week away from taking it off. So I got to wear this for another freaking month. She goes, you're not going back to work until we talk. So I don't even know when I'm going back to work. And she goes, you got to come in for another CAT scan in December. She goes, I do not want to do surgery because it is too, everything's falling apart. She goes, it'll be long, it'll be painful. There's big chances of badness, She goes, you'll be paralyzed from the neck down. She goes, you'll just be able to look and talk. She goes, you don't want that. So I've been like, hey, broken egg. And, my wife was like almost in tears. And I like drove home in silence. Like this is worse than I thought, but I don't know if the EMT people were just playing it down to keep me calm or they were just rushing around, or one guy told somebody else, so, but this woman, I don't know. She's like, do you just wear this brace? But seeing the picture of it, drove home, it's, you crash into a tree and then you call yourself lucky, but yeah, lucky the accident wasn't worse. So it was a sobering experience. That's fair. You can't follow every hobby. Yes, we're talking about manga. Project Neurosis, absolutely. The current prices are nuts to the point. I buy my comics at Discount Comic Book Service. I know I sound like a trader in that I don't go to my local comic book store, and I challenge myself every month to get less and less new comics because, quite frankly, I'm liking older comics. I just bought this. I forget who I was talking to, and this was their comic. I just bought that. I just ordered Brian Bow's Wolf and Batsies that he did from before Alterna. He did 4 graphic novels on Indie Planet. So I'm still buying comics. I'm probably buying too much comics. And if you see my back issue, I have 2 series on my channel for new comics. One of them is called My Monthly Visitor, and it's every time I get my new comics from Discount Comic Book Service. I get them once a month. I cut open the box, and then I do a video on my monthly comics. And the other one is Back Issue Bonanzas. That's older comics that I order. What you're reading is just a combination of both of those after I read them. But so you could see whatever new comics I buy, and it's just like Paul says right here, it's just too expensive. I could take a Lee Brett Booth. I like his art, and I interacted with him. I told the story a few times that there was a comic pro this was like 2017, who was flirting with the idea of doing crowdfunding. And he was just going on Twitter and talking, like, should I go on crowdfunding? And he was basically testing the waters to see the reaction to his fellow pros. So me being a jerk back then, I was, if you remember, your boy Zach was doing his dark roast, and you know what I mean? We were all, geez, I can't believe that was like 6 years ago. So I just said, well, I'm a Trump supporter. Can I back your comic? And he said, yes, you can, but I wish you wouldn't. So of course I'm like, why? What's wrong with Trump supporter? Blah, blah, blah. And then his wife started messaging me, please, can you leave Brett alone? He's terrified. He's not getting enough money. We're hurting him, blah, blah, blah. And we're testing the water. We're getting night letters. So I felt really bad for him. So I just left him alone after that. But now he's like busting Christian's chops, and everything he talks about is politics. Like F you and whatever sympathy you garnered from me. Are these comics you CGC'd? I'm special ed. I speculated on the Glow in the Dark Ghost Rider cover. Got 10 copies. My older brother got the Death of Superman in the plastic bag, and he's like, yeah, it's in a vault. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you 15 cents for it. Hating ideas and actions is different from hating people. Absolutely. I hate communism. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, neck injury is a serious business. Yeah. Oh, so now we're getting to my comments. Yeah, I'm one lucky dude. Yeah. Okay. Are you close to retirement? I got another 11 years. I'm 56. In my job, you could retire at 55, but I started at 35, so I only have 20 years. So our pension caps out at 44 years. So I'll get like half the pension. And then if I retire at 55, there's a big hit to the Social Security. So I was always thinking of like around 60, but there's a class that we could go to that'll figure out exactly how much money we need. Like I tell you, man, if it wasn't for property tax, I could probably retire because my mortgage is not bad. My mortgage for my house is cheaper than my 1-bedroom apartment rent in Queens. It's just that the property tax makes it so that I have to continue working. Property tax is the most evil tax in the world. We all have to exist somewhere. All these liberals who are like, housing is a right. Well, so we can tax our rights. If be consistent here. If you believe that housing is a right, how could you possibly believe in taxing my rights? Do you tax my right for religion? Do you tax my right for free speech? But I never said that liberals were consistent. Hell, chat, keep wearing that brace till you get the old clip. Yes. As much as it's driving me crazy, I'm not taking it off. I'm not taking a good. I may be a jerk, but I'm a jerk who does what my doctor says. I always listen to the doctors. In some situations, calm confidence can make the situation better. Yeah, as mainstream goes, there's no new comics, only crappy ones. Usagi Yojimbo, anything Mike Mignola, And to their credit, I don't know any of Mike Mignola's politics. I don't know any of Stan Sakai's politics. That Omega Girl, yeah, it's right up my alley. It's print on demand. It looks cute. It looks good. It's $4.99 because it's print on demand. It's not a Kickstarter, and it's also something I'm exploring with my comic. Do I want to do print on? News on my comic. Colors. The pages are all colored. Pages are all colored. Bill said he's Bill Williams, my letterer, is doing a Kickstarter. So he said he will start the lettering on Tuesday, and he's quick. So the lettering will be done like in a week, and then it's talking to the printers. So there we go. I miss Discount Comic Book Services physical store. Oh, it's funny. I never thought that they would have a physical store. I never thought that. That's funny. And more of my comic book news. I got 2 more days left for Kickstarter, and then I'm hoping I gotta talk. I'm hoping that I could launch the Indiegogo on Friday. So I'm hoping I can have the links to start pressuring that, and then I have another cover, the final cover, the Mike Gustovich cover. Matter of fact, I got to talk to Nick. Nick is doing the cover dress to make sure that the cover's ready. This Tuesday is week 5 of my ad. Okay, I'll figure out that's when they'll put me into early retirement. Oh man, are you okay? I had no idea. Perfect 10 Power Trip. There you go. Brett and Jess are good people. They're fine until he gets into politics and religion. Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah. It's like I said, I really do like his art. Now and again, I reread my copy of Death of Superman. The cover just never did anything. Yeah, the cover was bad. 62.5 retirement, but they're talking about moving it to 7. Are you like a government position? Because I do construction. All these people talking about moving retirement to 70. They have office jobs. You physically can't do my job in the 70s. Yep, property tax. All tax is theft. Property tax is the most evil of all of it. Yes, but you're trying sometimes prop tax. Yeah, if I retire, I might have to sell my house and move, someplace like dirt cheap, which is fine because I'll make friends, but I like my friends that I made here, and I like this comic book room, you know what I mean? And I always kind of joked around that when I retired, I sell my comics, but I'm not ready to sell my comics. Long Island has the highest property taxes in America. Tell me about it. Congrats on getting coloring done. New York State has the highest taxes in America and the highest auto. Tell me about it. It's killing me. I feel like I'm working to pay property tax and car insurance. I don't mind paying for my car. I got to pay for my car. You know, we just bought a new car because I destroyed the other one. I don't mind paying for that. It's, you know, you got to pay for products, but the insurance also at the same time, my insurance, this bill was close to $89,000 that the insurance paid. So I guess I shouldn't complain. Oh, you'll be 68. I just assume I'm the oldest person in the room. Yeah, yeah. Oh, 58. Okay, that makes, yeah. Get out of New York State. Tell me about it. It's not like my family comes to visit me. Nobody. I got 7 brothers and sisters. Nobody's come to visit me. I'm sure there's a barbecue tomorrow, but I'm the only Trump supporter in my family, so nobody invites me to barbecues. Yeah, I went to retire out west, like Idaho. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I was thinking of Montana and Idaho too. Okay, so let's check out this comic. All right, all right. So, there we go. So this is not my original copy. As I said, I was a weird kid. I look back at some of my behaviors as a child, and so I was born in 68, so this is 79. So what is it? I was 9 years old when Star Wars came out, 77. So yeah, I was what, 9 years old when Star Wars come out? You know, Star Wars was made for me. Oh my God, did I loved Star Wars. I lived Star Wars. I played Star Wars. I ate, drank, and pooped Star Wars. All my toys were Star Wars. It was like, you know, it was like I was kidnapped by George Lucas. You know what I mean? I loved Star Wars. So of course I got this comic book. I was at the comics, I got this. And if memory serves me right, I'm sure Marcus could correct me. I got the comic before, well, I got the comic before I saw the movie. You know, I was a little kid. I was at the whims of whoever wanted to take me to the movie. And but I remember the comic coming out before the movie. I don't know if that's true or not. So if anybody, if Marcus, if you could fact check me. So I got this comic and I read it and I read it and I read it and I read it and and then I saw the movie, and I think I got up to like, I forget, somewhere in the teens, and I just quit cold turkey the comics. Why? Because the comics didn't look like the movie, and it drove me nuts. And here's my proof. Darth Vader wasn't green. Look at this fin over here. It doesn't match that fin. That's not Princess Leia's haircut. Luke and Obi-Wan didn't have red lightsabers. What is Han Solo wearing? You know, what is Han Solo wearing? I'll forgive the weird artistic rendering of Luke Skywalker. And then, you know, this gun didn't look like his gun. And the Death Star is not literally a star that's on fire. It's just, all of these things were driving me nuts, you know. And then Luke over here is all heroic and majestic and everything. Meanwhile, he was puny little kid. But the spaceships and everything like that was cool. Okay, so I'm being careful because this is a real good copy. Look at these monsters and everything. I love all these ads. So it's funny. I'm looking at the screen because it's so dark down here. Maybe I'll turn the light a little bit more. At this point, who cares if my face is glowing? So I can see. All right, look at the Star Destroyer over here. Now, if I remember correctly, the Empire has green lasers and the Rebellion has the red lasers. I know that's kind of stuff that is not too important. All right, what does it say here? 1977. It was a period of civil war in the galaxy. You know, look at this. I this definitely came out before the movie, right? I mean, this was drawn from stills and maybe like a script, because there's no way they wouldn't have that opening scene. You know, that is just such, I hate this word, but there's no other way to describe it. Like in my mind, that iconic opening scene of Star Wars with the, you know, the Star, that is just so good. Okay, let's look at the credits now. Roy Thomas, editor and scripter. Howard Chaykin, illustrator, Jim Novak, letterer, adapting the greatest space fantasy of them all, and Marie Severin, colorist. Now, I've heard this, and I didn't believe it until Jim Shooter himself told me that Star Wars, this comic saved Marvel from bankruptcy. I physically, because I went and I bought, so the coloring was off and everything like that. I was a little kid. I actually took magic markers and recolored my comic because I was that kind of crazy person. And then I gave them away because I couldn't stand them because they were different than the movies. I just gave them away. I've since rebought them, but it said like 6th printing right on the cover. So that they printed millions of these. I thought this was a hair. And this is just Howard Chaykin. Not my favorite artwork. Just look at this. And I think this is just, again, like drawn from a script. And going forward, I'll address as I turn a page, or even better, before I turn a page, I'll address the chat, because then everybody's going to be asking me questions about stuff that I'm not talking about. So we got R2D2, C3PO. You know, look at the difference in the opening sequence. You know, and what do they have here? Now, this might be the source of memories that aren't in the movie, but over here we got Luke watching the fight. He could see with his binoculars, you know. So I wonder, was that in the script and not in the movie? And if so, are there deleted scenes? Because here's Darth Vader. He's choking out a guy over here. You know, until we have, I want them a lot. Yes, Lord Vader. Here we got Princess Leia and C3PO. You know, all these scenes that everybody remembered. Oh, and before, okay, let's. Wow, a lot of comments. Taxes, theft, but governments need income somehow. You want a country, but don't want to fund it. Yeah, but keep in mind, 65 cents of every dollar that they collect is wasted. You know what I mean? It's not taxes. They could lower the taxes by 75%. It's how they spend the money that's the problem. It's not me. You know, it's up until 1917, there was no income tax. I mean, there's payroll tax. There's payroll tax is evil. Property tax is evil. And property taxes funding the schools, and the kids come out of school idiots. You know what I mean? It's money is not the problem. It's our culture that's the problem. You know, we could make do with less. Back when there was no freaking taxes for schools, people, you know, I took a class and we read letters from Civil War soldiers, and these were like ignorant farmers, you know, hayseed, and they were like, these letters were like, what a glorious day to find you on this about. But these guys were writing letters that were like Shakespeare, and these were like uneducated farmers. You know what I mean? And we lost our way, and it has nothing to do with money. Like Logic Finest, I always like your comments, but we could reduce taxes by 75%. The government needs to be more efficient. That's the bottom line. There was a movie you should emulate, Escape from New York. Yeah. Taxes aren't the problem. It's the high tax, the greed. Taxes are the problem. They're taking and they're spending. You know, why am I spending $1,000 a month on taxes on property that I already own? You'll never convince me, Logic. This is where we split. Taxes are the problem. Taxes are the problem. The government is spending too much money, and then they're just using us as pay pigs. The government needs to reduce its spending by 80% and be more efficient with it. I'm going to send you something as DM and Twitter, cover to one of the old Brian Bob book. Oh, cool. I live next to Idaho. It's nice. Most taxes should be lowered. There you go. There you go. If it weren't for Star Wars, I never would have gotten into comics. Hey, Stippling Vaughn is here. Never argue with the man that stipples. The problem is the mismanagement of the textiles. Yep. And rather than fix the problem, they just raise tax. Like, if you own a business, you have to pay tax to pay your employees. And we don't question that. That's not weird. So you have to pay taxes to pay your employees, who then get taxed, who buy things that are taxed. George Washington would be loading the muskets right now if he were alive. If you stop giving tax dollars that aren't taxpayers, that's another problem. Yep. Good morning, Devil Flyer Momentum. I backed your book too. Didn't buy Star Wars regularly until Walt and Tom were doing it. That's an ugly cover. Always puts me off collecting Star Wars, but I did collect Return of the Jedi miniseries. I got mine at a package type store in the New Jersey store. 7-inch skeleton poster. Oh, yeah. 7-foot skeleton. It's not 7 inches. It's 7 foot. This comic came out before the movie. In fact, they didn't have you see, that's the problem. Yes, and it's Howard Chaykin. And it's Howard Chaykin, and it's not even the good Howard Chaykin. This is like, I wonder if they would just draw this. You know what I mean? Because they didn't get a top-notch artist, and it doesn't look that great. Star Wars was my youth. I played up to sundown. Yeah, me too. This was before the movie came out. Didn't know how it ended for issue 2. It was kind of odd how the ships in the Empire has green and the Rebels have red, but the Sith Lord has red lightsaber. Yep. I got Treasury Edition of an issue of Star Wars for my brother-in-law as a Christmas present last year. Yep. Howard isn't crazy, but I think he was super rushed. I think they were like, we got to put it out. I always liked the Land Speeder. Land Speeder is cool. Star Wars saved Marvel. Yep. Prior to Civil War, tariffs on goods paid the bulk of government expenditures. Well, property tax paid for education. There was only children of citizens, and those were here legally. School costs would go lay down. And I would say that if the parents decided where their money went to, so they could go to private schools and had some competition, you know, I'm all for school choice. You know, let your Jewish kids go to a Jewish school. Take your tax money with you, because we're spending more per student than Japan does, and Japan has education. All right, let's enough about this. It's enacted lawsuits and crazy insurance. Yep. I got the Treasury Edition as Marvel printed it. Yep. See, John, you go to my third comment. We do agree. Yep. Tax on it's the over taxation. Yes. There doesn't have to be taxes. You know, we can come up with other solutions to fund the government, but the problem is the government tax. Yep. Absolutely. Like, look, 60 cents for every gallon of gas is taxes for the roads, and the roads are still crap. If I came out there, I'd pay 40 to protect against garbage suits. Yep. Absolutely. All these SJ have house ads. All of these Star Wars books have house ads for Marvel. I see SA, and I wrote right to SAW. Yes, this comic was selling Marvel. Yep. Howard hates his Star Wars artwork. It drives him nuts. These are the issues he has for most often. Yeah. Overtaxation of waste. Yep. Okay, so now I'm caught up. Now, I think Marcus could back me up on this, that Howard, they were like, we got Star Wars, we got to bang this out. Because Howard Chaykin is a phenomenal artist, and Howard Chaykin, if you read his American Flag, he was used to working under pressure, but American Flag, at least for the first year or two, was phenomenal artwork with a lot of like pre-computerized tricks, you know, I'm sure I did a showcase on a American Flag comic. All right, we got Joe Wilder over here. He's going to build a better body. You know, build a better body, guys. Why not? And then, you know, this looks all familiar. You know, R2D2 C3PO going into the escape pod. Princess Leia over here. And it just look at this floor. It just I don't know. It just looks like, look at these markings on the ground. Like, I know it's supposed to be like a metal grate, but it looks rushed. Is the only way to describe it. You know, look at this gun, and then look at Princess Leia over here. Man, it's basically a naked girl colored white. You know, geez, Leia. Ooh, you know. And then she's just laying down over here, and her skirt gives way to pants. And here is another scene. This must be in the script, but it's not in the movie. And now, see, this probably explains some of the memories I have of Star Wars that aren't in the movie, or maybe this is in the outtakes or something. But Luke is talking over here, and who is he talking to? Talking to Biggs. You know, he goes to Anchorhead, and he's talking to Biggs. You know, Biggs, how you doing? Talking to Biggs Darklighter, and they're just having a conversation. And what's he talking about? He's talking about the fight that he saw in the sky. So these, anybody have recollections of these scenes? Am I just a crazy person? Like, I'm so, because I did not take out this comic and look at it. I have not looked at this comic probably since 1970. Even when I bought the reprints, I just put it right back into my collection. So I haven't seen this comic in, geez, since 1979. I would say the inside. And just look at all this. You know, Biggs talking about the fight that he saw in space. This is adding a whole nother dimension to Star Wars that I kind of forgot. I can make a better Luke Skywalker than Mark Hamill. Well, nowadays, like I said on Twitter, who is the biggest disappointment, Mark Hamill or Luke Skywalker? Both of them, as far as I'm concerned, are disappointments. They keep trying to drive American Flag. The artist next level. Now the story is good, but the problem with American Flag, it is the worst storytelling in comic book history. Sometimes I would go to Wikipedia and have Wikipedia clear up the story for me, because it is like image level as each. If you cannot, like in this, you could follow the story. This is good storytelling for the most part. I'm trying to think of like regular old Marvel comics. You could follow the storytelling. Jack Kirby stuff, you could follow. You could take all the words out and you could follow the story. American Flag is impossible to follow the story by the art. It's impossible. Worst storytelling ever. And I keep talking about how I only did 4 negative reviews. I include the American, as much as I love American Flag, I use that. I did a showcase on that to show what I'm talking about when I say how bad storytelling could make for a bit. And Howard Chaykin, I don't know. He still does. Like, he just did a comic called Satellite Sam. But the thing about Howard Chaykin is it's worth the work. I guess Howard did not get the memo that there'll be no breasts in Star Wars. Leia's definitely not taped down in that panel. Those scenes are outtakes. Yeah, I know. And part of me thinks that I saw them. You know, I don't know if I've been Mandela affected. A lot of what ended up on the cutting room floor was included in the radio drama. Was there ever like an expanded edition that was in the theater? Because I you know what I mean? Like, I just have memories of these. They can't just be from the comics. There was a deleted scene that's on YouTube with, yeah, right here, this scene, right here. Yeah, and I'll never forgive the Disney Star Wars for wasting Carrie Fisher. They'll never, you know, they never had a scene with Luke, Han, and like, I don't know. Here we go. And now we got get your van. There's nothing more 70s than getting your van. Getting your van all pimped out. Just amazing. This is the ultimate 70s ad, if you ask me. And now we got Leia, who seems to have a more sensible breasts over here, or less sexy. Vader over here. I love the sideburns on this guy. You know, and then this is pretty standard. We got R2D2 C3PO getting attacked by Jawas, and oh my God, did that scene scare the crap out of me when I first saw it as a kid. Oh, that was the scariest thing. Like, I remember, I'm talking, I must have been 10 years old or so, arguing with other kids that Star Wars was scary. You know, would you describe Star Wars as scary to anybody? I remember talking about how scary Star Wars was, you know, and that's, to me, proof positive that Star Wars, the original movie, did not pander to children. Return of the Jedi was the beginning of pandering to children. But Star Wars Empire Strikes Back was scary as shit. Tell me when that ice monster came out, you didn't poop your pants. You know, when these Jawas, they look like little devils just hide behind the rocks. They jumped out, scared the crap out of you, and then they lightened it up with the sound effects later on. But it was creepy. It was scary. You know, they did not pander to children. in the original Star Wars. And we got the thing over here. Got this. I had these. These were fun. We'd shoot in each other's faces, try to hurt each other. And then we got more Luke and Biggs. Stories need to be based on truth and morality and universal tropes. When they move away from that, you just get subjectivism and moral relativism. All right, we got Service. Do you subscribe to RJ's The Fourth Age? If not, you need to check out The Fourth Age. What this comment right here is what his channel of like 4 years is about. RJ's my buddy. He does he shows his humorous side when he's on with me, which is why he wants to do it, because he was afraid he was getting a reputation as a stick in the mud. So me and him do kind of like more humorous. But go to The Fourth Age. Just comment to let me know either you know about him or you don't know about him. But you should really check out, The Fourth Age. You probably saw them in the Star Wars storybook. You're probably right. You're probably right. I part of me thinks that they were in commercials. You know how sometimes commercials have scenes that aren't in movies, like Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, the Steve Martin movie, Michael Caine. There's a scene where he's pushing an old lady into the water. That was in the commercial, but it was not in the movie. It came out around the same time. Like I said, you're probably right. People nowadays live in vans down by the river. Yep. When I retire, I'll have to do it. I was scared of yeah, when the sand person popped up, yes. Yeah, it was scary. It was scary. And I'll tell you, in Empire Strikes Back, with that thing, when they were inside the asteroid and it stuck to the window, I screamed. Yeah. The Emperor was terrified. Yes, it was scary. Yeah, and the Return of the Jedi, it was all Muppets. Absolutely. I wasn't scared of Star Wars. I wasn't scared of no ghost. What is good about the art is it tells you the story. Yes. The storytelling is perfect in this. And I think it's because a lot was riding on this. They were probably riding on Chaykin. They were probably demanding a lot of changes. You know what I mean? And I think that's why his art isn't the best. I'm an anomaly. Ask people my age if they were scared of Star Wars as a kid. The same people are probably the scariest part. Star Wars was never scary, and I was under 10 when it came out. Okay, all right. Are you about to get canceled? No. Try to cancel me. It has no power anymore. I'll check out RJ. Oh, okay, so you didn't know. Service, let me know. Watch, yeah. That channel was made for you. Oh my God, yeah. I was unaware of him. I critique stories because they provide subject. Oh my God, you and RJ are buddies. You don't even know this. You guys are brothers of another mother right over here. Check out his channel. Oh my God. I just assumed you knew who he was, or I would have brought it up earlier. I'm not even joking. Love those old dangerous Marvel toys. My favorite Spidey web singer, which shot suction cup darts. If you pulled the suction cup off and put a pin on the dart, yes. Does anybody remember Jarts? They were metal darts with spikes at the end of them that you threw. And then later on they made them like rubberized or something. But look at this. Okay. They're talking about joining the rebellion and everything. So this is how Luke finds out about the rebellion, through this conversation with Biggs. And now we got the classic scene in the Empire, Grand Moff Tarkin over here. Okay. This makes me laugh. Oh my God, this makes me laugh so much. To the point. So again, I saw this comic book before I saw the movie. Darth Vader is summoning a cup of coffee. And when he's choking, he's got a cup of coffee. So this is, they must have saw stills of Darth Vader like this. And he put coffee in his hand. You know what I mean? And that's why when I saw the movie, I was confused that Vader didn't have a cup of coffee. Like, how is he going to drink? How is Darth Vader going to drink? Nobody else finds that funny. And I think in the later editions, they airbrushed over the cup of coffee. But look at this. He's summoning a cup of coffee. He's holding it. And how is he going to drink? And then we got C-3PO and them in the what do we call it? The Jawa, the troop, not troop transport. There's a word for the Jawa, the sand dune machine, whatever. And then Uncle Owen over here, the other one's explodes. We forget that R2. Make sure he speaks Bocce. You don't have much of a choice, Aunt Peru, but I'll remind him. Make sure he speaks moisture evaporators. Moisture evaporators. My first job was programming binary load lifters. Very simple. Do you speak Bocce? Like a second language. And here we got a 6-issue perspective on Star Wars. Yeah, so this was a 6-issue series to do the first movie. These are character sketches. Look at that. Look, that is just awful. That is just awful. The story behind the Star Wars comic book by Roy Thomas. And before I go, I will I get my in through Jay Dwyer. I don't know who that is. Jay Dwyer, he critiques movies the same way. Okay, yeah, please let me know what you think of RJ. I never heard of Jarts, but I remember. Yeah, Lawn Darts and Jarts are the same thing. I think they just changed the name or maybe different brand. A cup of coffee. They did it in Spaceballs. I don't remember. I've only saw Spaceballs once in the movie theater with the girlfriend, and I think we were kissing through the whole movie. Star Wars was the first live action movie I saw up until Star Wars. I saw all in the theater. It was Disney cartoons. Really? This was the first movie you saw in the theaters. It's funny because I think the first movie I saw in the theaters was I'm going to say I think it was Lucas's first movie. How's that for a coincidence? Why can't I think of about the cars? What the hell was Lucas's first movie about the cars? Not Corvette Summer, but George Lucas had another movie. It was like, so here's the thing about George Lucas. We forget American Graffiti. Thank you. American Graffiti was the first movie I saw in the movie theaters. So American Graffiti was a movie set in the 50s, and it was about like cars and everything like that. It was set in the that started Star Wars, and in the 70s, this 50s nostalgia was, in my opinion, was created by George Lucas. So before Star Wars, Lucas already had a cultural phenomenon with American Graffiti and Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley. Then he did Star Wars, and boom, this cultural phenomenon of Star Wars came out. Then he did Indiana Jones. Boom, another phenomenon. George Lucas is so influential, and we forget how influential American Graffiti was because it was overshadowed by Star Wars. Sandcrawler, that's the name of it. Yep, Sandcrawler. Stan rejected Star Wars, but Roy Thomas fought for it. Wow. Yeah, THX 1138. That was his first movie, but I was talking about American Graffiti because this was a college film. I don't think it was ever released in the theaters. Yeah, I'm talking about his first theatrical release. Yes, but you are correct. And I still have never seen this movie. I still have never seen it. Yeah, I got to check it out. I've never seen it. Does anybody remember the movie Dark Star where the monster was like a beach ball? I love that movie. I forgot my underwear. Here we got Friends of Old Marvel. And then we got Luke over here. The scene with the hologram. Luke's over here snapping away. Princess Leia comes up here. What did he say? I don't remember him talking about. Unless Master was Captain Antilles. I don't know any Obi-Wan, but there's an old Ben Kenobi. He lives out beyond the Dune Sea, sort of a hermit. I wonder if I removed the restraining bolt. No. He looks pretty accurate, so there must have been like stills of the actors. I have a theory because everybody's criticizing Star Wars that when you watch the prequels and they show Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, they're young. And then you see Ian McGregor go into Tatooine, he's young. And then they cut to this movie and they're all old. How about there's two sons? The radiation in the desert ages people. That's my fan theory. What do you guys think? You know, and Luke, he left. Otherwise, he would have prematurely aged from the radiations of the old two suns. How's that for a theory? That's my fan theory, and I'm sticking to it. And we got. I always wanted. Oh no, this there was a Star Trek toy in the comics that I've always wanted. Always wanted. See, he hits the button and pulls him up. Like it looked like a saber in the comic. Look at that drawing is awful. That drawing is awful. Just the art really is this. I mean, this looks like underground comics, if you ask me. This is not Marvel comic quality comics. This scene is like right out of the movie. Here comes the Sand People. Do they say Tusken Raiders or do they say Sand People? Because they say Banthas right here. But I remember like they were called Tusken Raiders, and but they say Sand People. Look at this. First appearance of Madam Web. First appearance of Madam Web. She appeared in Hostess Cupcakes before she appeared in the comic. It was a different character, but kind of sexy, down on her knees in front of Pete. And we got, he finds R2D2. Look at that face. Look at that face. Oh, I just realized I haven't addressed the it's crazy, but George Lucas is the reason we had Happy Days. Yep, which gave us Laverne and Shirley and Mork and Mindy. Yes, George Lucas' first cultural phenomenon was this 50s revival. I got to see THX. I still haven't seen it. Basically, I got to see it. So, I must be too. I'm trying to look to see. I'm trying to look at the writing. Does it say, suddenly a gruesome Tusken Raider? So, did they abandon Tusken Raider, or they both names, But I remember they were called Tusken Raiders. And then his dreaded axe blade poised to kill. The next issue on to Alderaan. So there we go. Super bodybuilding. This ad always made me laugh. I just, you notice the ads back in 1977, bodybuilding, customizing vans, fishing, a lot more physical activities, get in shape, basketball. Look at this ad. That is just a classic ad. I mean, I've already spoiled it, but there's going to be 3 ads in Heroic Tales, and I want to take classic ads, so I already showed the sea hippies instead of sea monkeys. But I was thinking of doing like a Spalding ad, get Matt, because Matt Bauer just did a great job for the sea hippies ad. So I was thinking of maybe having him do a mock-up of this, and and he did it all on his own. I just gave him an idea, sea hippies, and then left him alone. So I was wondering if we could do it like a goof on this. Star Wars 1 is less to anyone to try hard in any work unless you want to come back to haunt you. Yeah. I think Marcus said that Howard Chaykin is a little embarrassed by this. Yeah. It's nihilistic. What's nihilistic? Oh, transhumanism always leads to nihilism. Sand People is a slur. Tusken Raider is their proper name. Okay, I'll buy that. Star Wars #1 is a lesson not to slough any work. You undertake it because it may come back to haunt you for. Yeah. They were called both. As a kid, Sand People. Now I say both. Yeah. Who is calling me? I got Jack Davis is drawing Dr. J. Yeah. So there you go. That's Star Wars #1. 30 cents. Star Wars. This is the first printing. This is the big deal. I think it says here on my bag 8.0. 8.0. So let that sink in, whatever that means. Unpopular opinion. George Lucas is not a good filmmaker. He's a great idea guy, but needs good filmmakers to bring his brilliant vision to reality. Spielberg changed Star Wars in the editing booth. Yeah, and there was another guy. there, there was a partner, like almost like a silent partner that they say that like fought with George Lucas. Yeah, because look at the prequels. The prequels were just, he had the cult of personality. Nobody, you were going to tell George Lucas to rein it in, and that's what happened. The prequels got out of hand. George Lucas needed somebody. He needed an editor. He needed an editor to rein in his crazy ideas. Someone is calling to renew you. No. There's an old lady that I take food shopping, and I haven't seen her in a couple of weeks. So I called her yesterday, make sure she was all right. She's calling me back now. It's just bad timing. Did I buy this off the stand? This is a rebuy. The ones I bought off the stand, I covered over with magic marker. I'm sure they don't even exist anymore. I'm sure they're thrown away. Like I colored the lightsabers. I recolored Darth Vader. Inside the comic, I recolored because the colors were off, because I'm a crazy person. And then I gave them away because I couldn't stand them, because they weren't right. That's the kind of kid that I was. So I wonder, looking back, because I would sit there and line up my toys in straight lines, height order. I would play with them, and then I would put them back, meticulously put them back, and I would rock back and forth. So I wonder if I was an autistic kid, undiagnosed, because 56 years ago, who cared about that? Because you just beat them harder. I would, I had a desk that I would sit at, and then, you put all your stuff underneath your seat. Every once in a while, I would just freak out. I just, in the middle of class, pull all my books out, reorganize my books. I was that kind of person. Yeah, I don't think Howard was being lazy. I think the Bush, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think he was under tremendous pressure to get this out. That's what I think. George Lucas is great. Yeah, he needs a good editor. Absolutely. Mudslinger. First off, I'm not sure if I've seen your name around, so thank you. Lucas really needed Marcia when they divorced. It was when he fell apart. But there was another guy that, and I can't think of his name. Spielberg took the mantle of H.G. Wells by promoting the Galen mythos. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I heard that it was Lucas's wife that saved the movie in editing. I've heard that more than once, that he basically filmed an unusable movie, and that it was saved in editing. Yes, we used to beat left-handedness out of people. Yeah, yep, yeah. Tie the left hand to the desk. Yep. Is it Lawrence? Was it Lawrence Kasdan? Was that his name? Was that the partner? Was that the partner that I think it was the producer? I forget, but I heard Star Wars was the right combination of three people. It was Lucas, Gary Kurtz. That's who I think it was. Gary Kurtz. Yes. Okay. Yes, it was Gary Kurtz. I heard it was Lawrence Kasdan was the director of the second movie, if I remember correctly. But I heard that Gary Kurtz and Lucas and his wife were kind of combatant heads. And to me, it was that them combatant heads was the sandpaper that fine-tuned Star Wars into the. It really is an excellent movie. It's a lot of fun. Spielberg, not his wife. His wife worked the projector in the editing booth, but Spielberg did the edit. Okay. My first grade teacher made me write with my right. Oh. Gloria Katz and her husband, William Hayek, also helped with the dialogue. Yet the dialogue is terrible. The fact, just watch, just pay attention. Next time you watch this movie, pay attention to anything Harrison Ford says. It's nonsense. The fact that he sells it is strength of his acting ability. And I will also say this. The parsecs, the Kessel Run speech, that was nonsense. It was him bullshitting Obi-Wan Kenobi. I did the Kessel Run in 4.2. That was supposed to be nonsense. It meant nothing. It never happened. And Han Solo was just baffling him with bullshit. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, when he heard that, he understood that it was nonsense, and he understood that this was a desperate man who needed money. So this to me, to change it to an actual thing diminishes the characters of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Han Solo. Obi-Wan Kenobi was desperate to get someplace without any interference, and he found a man who was just as desperate as he wanted. Also, Han Solo was a drug smuggling murderer who became a good guy after meeting Princess Leia and this adventure. He started out, he just wanted a reward, and then he became a good guy. So it was brilliant. The fact that they changed any of that is shows me that they fundamentally don't understand Star Wars. Yeah, I didn't think Spielberg did that. I didn't think Spielberg had anything to do with Star Wars. I wasn't going to argue with anybody because I didn't I didn't know enough, so I just was quiet. Heroinberg, hey John, but popping and say hi, and how influential Star Wars #1 first comic book I ever bought with my own money. It led me on buying spree at my neighborhood newsstand for 10 years. There we go. I love hearing stuff like that. Your boy Zach is going a little crazy lately, but one thing that your boy Zach says that I absolutely agree with is that you ask any comic book fan, what was your first comic book? Not only will they tell you, they would tell you until you're sick of hearing about it. Heroinberg will, crystal memories of buying Star Wars. I remember buying Fantastic Four 180, 186, 184. I remember getting the Thor 286, I think it was, with the Thor smashing the destroyer on the head, drawn by Walt Simonson. But you ask modern people, what's your favorite? If they're Hammond and Hawn, they're comic book tourists. Comic book fans, we remember our first girlfriend, we remember our first car, we remember our first comic book to the day we die. So, are we done? Oh, another comment. Not to argue, but Lucas and Spielberg said Spielberg re-edited the film after Lucas showed it to him at a private screening. Okay, see, I didn't know that. But I did know that it was Gary Kurtz. I did know that Gary Kurtz and Lucas fought. And I always heard that it was Lucas's wife that did the editing. But now you're saying Spielberg? I don't know. But all I do know is that there was combat over over this movie, and it was, it was put through a gauntlet and sandpapered out to become a good movie. So Alpha Flight 12 was my first comic. I'll never forget reading it in the old family station wagon. There you go. I remember my first X-Men comic was 114. The issue where on the cover with Jean Grey and Beast pushing Charles Xavier through the dark hallway. They think the X-Men are dead, in the Savage Land. And what a bizarre comic to buy, because they weren't in their costumes. They were using their real names, so I didn't know who was who, but it was worth it. I'm not down with your boy Zach's cart birthday. Yeah, and it's really funny. As an aside, for those of you who don't know, your boy Zach has been going off on birthday party clowns and talking about like reviewers. He's specifically talking about Critical Drinker, and if you remember, he published a Critical Drinker comic. So I wonder, if there's behind the scenes stuff about this, but I don't know. Zach always had bad taste in movies, and I wish he would stop it. And does anybody know that his project fund, comic book to comic book, which I didn't back it. It's the first your boy Zach project I didn't back because I didn't like that he used an AI image when he could draw. You're telling me you couldn't sit down for 4 hours and draw a promo image? Because he's going to draw the comic. So he's the artist for a comic. But if I'm going to make a comic book, I don't AI image Heroic Tales, put it on my crowdfunding site, and then say, yeah, I'm going to draw it. Put in the effort to draw the image. That rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm not backing that book. Yes, but anyone should be able to remember their first comic. And Fantino did Star Wars, which led me to dial H for okay. There you go. George Lucas, A Life by Brian J. Jones gives a great account of making of Star Wars. I have fond memories of Star Wars. There's 3 Star Wars movies, and the number to be reached is 3. I don't care about the prequels. I don't care about the sequels. I especially don't care about the TV shows. The last Star Wars movie I ever watched was the second of the sequels, and the switch went off, sheets went over, and it's done. It's done. I didn't watch Mandalorians. I didn't watch anything else. I didn't watch anything. I never even watched the Clone Wars cartoons. You know, I'm done with Star Wars. I watched, you know, the 3 original movies. I watched the 3 sequel movies. I watched this stupid cartoon with Zero the Hutt. Does anybody else remember this? Nobody remembers that. I went to the movies and watched this stupid Zero the Hutt. It was like Truman Capote voice. I watched that, and then I watched this Christmas special, and then I watched 2 of the 3 sequels, and I'm done with Star Wars. It's over. Not to come back. It's never going to get resurrected. It's over. It's done. And now I'm editing my memories down to 3 Star Wars movies, and that's it. You know what I mean? They wasted the capital, and what else do you want me to say? I have some fond memories of Star Wars. I loved it. I still love what I love, but it's over with. They ruined it. You know, Zach should get his books out. Absolutely. The only new edit was after the original release was in 78 when A New Hope was added. It stayed as is until the special. So they did add A New Hope. Okay. They did add that, because when it first came out, I had memories that it did not say A New Hope. Okay, thank you, Mudslinger. All right. So I really wonder, because I have memories of a scene, and it's going to be in the next issue of a talking about going to Anchorhead, you know, the scum and villainy. But I remember that scene was more protracted. So I wonder if it's something that I saw cut out. You know, was it, you know, was there something on like regular network TV as a kid where they showed deleted scenes? I don't know, but I have memories of Star Wars that are not in the movie. But you're saying they started editing back in 78. Oh, wow. This comment right here. Awesome comment. Thank you. Because I have memories of Star Wars not saying A New Hope. Instead of creators attack each other, instead of fans attack, just walk away and read what you like. That's what I've done. That's what I've done. That's what I did. I'm not fighting about Star Wars. I'm not attacking Disney. I'm not. I just like what I like, and boom, I do that Ghostbusters red circle with the line, and I'm done. Pivot, walk away. I don't complain about it. I'm not watching Rings of Power. I don't talk about it. I don't hate watch it. The only thing I've ever hate watched was the last season of Heroes, and I'm still mad that I did. I should have walked away. Al Williamson. I remember that Zero the Hutt. Took my daughter to see it. Yeah, I was all excited about Star Wars at that point. What was the name of that movie? I've nobody talks about it. Nobody brings it up. Me and my friend Paul went to the movies to see it. It was like I think before the Clone Wars. It was all like that. Pixar animated movie. I haven't watched any Star Wars after Rogue One. Yeah, I liked Rogue One, but I'll throw it in the trash bin with all the other, if that's the choice. I thought Rogue One. I liked Rogue One, but it was fan service. There was no need for it. My kids loved the new Disney Star Wars movies. It was fun to take my kids. Yeah, but they were not good. Still, right? It's absolute. Like I work with a guy who's a lot younger than me. He loves the prequels. That's Star Wars to him. What am I going to fight with him? You know what I mean? He's like half my age. So those are his Star Wars movies. You know what I mean? And he didn't even see the original movies until after the prequels, because there was a long period of time where you couldn't see them. They weren't on TV. You know what I mean? So those were his Star Wars movies. Yeah. I saw the Zero the Hutt because my daughter wanted to see. Okay, so cool. I'm not crazy. People, that movie does exist. Let it be forgotten. Tyson LaFrance. Clone Wars War Comics has begun lately. Good comment, good name, and it's good to see you. Star Wars: The Clone Wars was the animated movie. Wasn't the Clone Wars animation film in the cinema that introduced us? Wouldn't know. Wouldn't know. Hate watching is a weird phenomenon. I understand why YouTubers do it. Yes, I understand if you have a YouTube channel that does that stuff. That's a business decision. I understand that. You know, but I'm not going to watch things that I'm not going to read comics that I don't like just to criticize them. Matter of fact, if you watch my channel, if you don't see a comic, well, I'm not going to do bad reviews. I did 4 bad reviews. The last bad review I did almost caused me to get canceled. It just shows, thank God, cancel culture doesn't exist anymore. You know, it was actually the Barbara Streisand effect that actually helped me out. So, whatever. Fair. I remember when they went back and added a bunch of CG stuff to the first. Yep. No need for it. Happy long weekend for everybody. Yep. I gotta go see that old lady. Go take her food shopping today for the first time since my accident. Because my wife is driving, I'm not allowed to drive. We got a new car. Whatever. You don't need to know all that. I love the prequels too. I grew up with those movies and the fight scenes blew me. Yeah. If that was your Star Wars as a kid, yeah. Clone Wars was the animated movie with 0. Oh, really? So then I guess I did see it. That's the name of the movie, The Clone Wars. Hate watch dollars spend the same as fan dollars. I never hate watch. Supporting what you right. Like I was so mad at Marvel, and I realized I was just buying. I stopped cold turkey in 2015. Just Marvel and DC, I stopped. Now, if I see some Marvel comics that interest me from 2015 to whatever, I'll buy them in back issue bins. And Marvel ain't getting that money. But, hate watching is still views, guys. You're still supporting it. So I won't do it. I thought so. I took my daughter. So okay, the Zero the Hutt movie was the Clone Wars movie. The Clone Wars was animated. Yes, now I got. Okay, so I guess I did see it. I didn't realize I was. If you feel like mentioning something that looks like crap like now, the Chaos Show with the woke take on Greek gods is a good target. Maybe the clowns will take a swing at that. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I don't want to hate watch. I don't want to get involved in something that I'm not going to like. A woke take on the Greek gods. That sounds awful. And if you're interested in the Greek gods, may I interest you in last week I did a conversation with George O'Connor. George O'Connor is doing a series of books that I absolutely love. He did 12 volumes of the Olympians. Each volume is a Greek god. And it's an all ages approach with like primary sources listed in the back and then like a teachers lesson plans in them. They're designed to be used as like teaching aids. Now he's doing the Asgardians. He just did Odin, and he's doing Thor and Loki, and then Ragnarok. And then he said he's going to go back to the Greek gods. There you go. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. I need another cup of coffee so bad. Oh, cool. Old soda from last night. Right. Hate watching is supporting what you claim to hate because you're giving money and time. I'm done with drama. Right. Absolutely. Just like I said, I woke up at 9:20. I put up the coffee pot, came down here, got everything prepped, and then was just looking at Twitter. And Eric July, EBS, now JDA. Now there's 3 drama people fighting. And I don't want to unfollow people, but I don't block anybody. I don't mute anybody. I just unfollow you if it gets because I don't know, blocking. I don't know. I just have a philosophical problem with blocking people. So I have never blocked anybody. Muting people is even worse. You follow them, but you mute them. I don't know. That just sounds gay. So I just unfollow you, and then maybe later on something will pop up and I'll follow you again. But like if you're on Twitter and you're just detractors, ripitards, blah blah blah. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You know, life's too short. I've been buying a lot of Silver Age Super. Oh, cool. I grew up in the 90s, but Silver Age rap. It's funny that you said that, Eric, because I wouldn't touch Silver Age DC Comics with the 10-foot pole as a kid. Now I'm loving them. I guess I'm yearning for the innocence, the nostalgia, the wholesomeness of it all, you know. So I'm with you, Eric. I hate watch the top 10 hottest comic books this week. I'm going to cut you some slack on that because that's informative at least. Like I'll hate watch the news. You know what I mean? Like especially I'm doing a YouTube show. I should watch what's the top 10 hottest comics of the week, you know, to be, you know, informed. You know, I don't know. So Tyson, I'll cut you some slack on that. At least it's informative. That O'Connor series sounds great. The only reason I paid attention to Chaos was because Jeff Goldblum was playing Zeus. Oh, so it's a cartoon. It's not a comic. Jeff Goldblum is Zeus. That's interesting. I would have put Christopher Walken. Wes and Doc keep me abreast of whatever's new within the big two because they barely cover indies. Okay. Silver Age stories are so pure and wacky. They are very fun to read. Most stories are contained in yes. That's what I'm trying to do with Heroic Tales. You know, I already know what my big criticism is like it doesn't read like a modern comic. Well, it's not supposed to read like a modern, but you know, I'm trying to shore up my defenses because you know a couple of people are gonna really eviscerate my comic, but whatever. But Silver Age, like I'm reading the Justice League. I'm up to issue 14. It's so charming, you know. And back then you could just swap the personalities. Arthur Curry is the same as Hal Jordan, is the same as Bruce Wayne. You know, it doesn't matter. They're all the same person, just different hairstyles. They even have the same body. And a few times they even swap costumes as part of the plot to trick the villains. You know, it's funny. And it's charming. I walked away from all that drama. It's one-sided EVS attacking Eric July. Della Rose is something else. It's fans attacking fans. I've had enough. Absolutely. Like I said this a few times and the people attacked me. Gail Simone is laughing at us. She's writing X-Men. Gail Simone is, you know, back in 2016, like at least this side was a united front. You know, we didn't like mainstream and whatever. Now that Gail Simone is just like, ha. You know, you've been attacking us for all these years. I'm still writing the X-Men. And what are you guys doing? You're fracturing into smaller and smaller pieces. You know what I mean? It's and to Eric July's credit, he's just being quiet and producing comics. You know, he's just being quiet and producing comics. You know, so I don't know. You got me talking about drama, you sly dog. At 2 stories per issue, like super good. Yep. Well, my comic has 2 stories every issue. And if I hit a stretch goal, there'll be 3 stories in every issue. And Heroenberg's comic. Oh, and I got number 4. I got number 4. I got number 4 literally the week I broke my neck. And there's stacks of comics all over here, Heroenberg. So I didn't forget your comic. My life went into turmoil. I also got Sergeant Fury, these Howling Commandos number 1. It's somewhere in this room. I gotta find it. I'm sorry. I was rereading DC's original Challenge of the Unknown. Yeah, that is a series that I'm actually very interested in. That is when I'm caught up on a couple other things. That's something I'm looking forward to. I just got Superman's pal with the very first appearance of the New Gods and Dark Side, and I wanted, because I never read the original Kirby Fourth World comics. I want to read the original in order. So that's one of my missions, to to actually read the Fourth World as it happened in the actual comics in chronological order. At this point, we could just talk about comics. Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna add to it, but I realized I didn't need to. I don't even know how JDA is involved. As far as I know, he liked the efforts of. I'm not gonna. I'm not. I was going to say, you almost drew me out and said something I shouldn't have said. We're forced to regale some mosaic because they tie in together. Damn sorry to hear about that, John. Thank you. Thank you. John, I went looking through my box and found my Silver Age Parable by Mobius. A Silver Surfer Parable by Mobius. You and Marcus brought it up the other night. That's a good comic. And I'm pretty sure that that's the comic that introduced me to Mobius. And then I went down a Mobius rabbit hole. I think I had some like heavy metal stuff that had Mobius in it, but I didn't make the connection until, because heavy metal was just a thing unto itself. But I think that was what made me a Mobius fan. Silver Age G, I find to be, it is. Some of them could be a chore. Silver Age, especially, this first 10 issues are really tough. July isn't being quiet. Oh, there you go. Shows you how much I pay attention. Do you buy Silver Age floppies? I'm buying floppies. I don't buy any compendium. I buy floppies. I like floppies. I bought the Jack Kirby hardcover omnibus, and then it's up on the shelf. I won't read it. I can't stand the color. The color looks garish. That's my new word, garish. Silver Surfer Parable is a brilliant social commentary book. Yep. Parable is the first time I cared about Silver Surfer. The Pope's Moby did made the Marvel cut. Yep. Absolutely. You buying the compacts from DC? No, I have the original comics. Like, what are they? Hush? I have those. Dark Knight? I have those. I wish Parable was printed better. Yeah, it's on old school newsprint with hand colored. All right. It's 11:30. Wow. We're talking for an hour and a half. So what do you guys think? Should I do the first 6 Star Wars? Should next week, should I do issue number 2? Should I do another comic? What do you guys think? I enjoyed this. This brought up a good conversation, good comments, good memories. Like that Biggs Darklighter brought back memories in my head. So we're already splitting. We got 1 yes to issue number 2, and then we got do another comic. So we need some more votes, because as of right now it's 50-50. Oh, as my knee popped. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear my knee pop? Who's the bug looking guy on the cover? I know. And look, this fin doesn't match that fin. Do another book. Star Wars is good, but you'll get a lot of the same comments. All right, so here we go. It's 1:33. I've been talking for an hour and 33 minutes. And I go, this old lady's chomping at the bit for me. She's 94 years old. She has no family members. She's just literally going stir. I'm going stir crazy. You can imagine. So my wife said, you know what? We got the new car. So we're driving into Queens for the first time. I hate this, but at least I got my wife in the car with me. We're going to take this lady, maybe go to the diner. Marvel made a Star Trek comic. Yes, they did. They made a Star Trek comic. I have that too. I like that even less than Star Wars, and I love Star Trek. They also made a Battlestar Galactica comic, which I loved. So, all right, I'm going to shut this down. Follow me on Twitter. I'll make a poll. What should I do for next Sunday comics? And this is fun for me. When usually Sunday afternoons is when I build all the StreamYards for the week. But I gotta go do this. So I might do a what you're reading later on today, because I've been reading lots and lots of comics. I can't put them away until I do the video. So the what you're reading is actually helps me clean up. And my health news. I know people keep asking. I have to wear this for another month. I'll be out of work for a lot longer. Seeing the X-rays was very sobering. The doctor's reaction was very, very I don't know, sobering, I guess. It was the way she just came in was like, you are very lucky. I was like, oh, it just knocked like the flippancy out of me. Does she pinch my cheek? No, I don't want her to touch me. This is going to be mean, but she is filthy. She, to the point I told my wife, get a blanket and put it down. She's disgusting. But what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? Did you ever get into House of Secrets? Yes, I bought the. Is it House of Mystery or House of Secrets? The one with the Swamp Thing. And then I have a couple of random issues. Like I said, people give me comics, so I got some old House of Secrets, but I never collected it. I watched the 70 Star Trek cartoon, better than you think it would be. Marvel made a Blade. Yeah, back then there could anything remotely sci-fi had comic adaptations. You know, there was a Blade Runner. I think it was a 2-issue series. DC's horror. Is that what you're requesting? I'll put up a poll on Twitter, but I'll do it in a couple of. I bought a few of those Star Trek comics back in the day, but my favorite Star Trek comic is the one with the LP, White Uhura and Black Sulu. I don't know what this is. What is that? Harrowberg, could you explain that? What is that? I don't remember that. I remember the Star Trek comic not being good. I think House of Mystery was Swamp Thing. Okay. House of Secrets 92. That's the one. Yes. They just reprinted it. Yes, they did like a facsimile. Harrowberg, you can't just say something like this. There's an LP with White Uhura and Black Sulu. What are you talking about? Jeez, holy moly. All right. I'm just going to wait another minute or two and then, okay, it looks like the comments are winding down. Thanks a lot, everybody. I don't mean to rush, but I do got a lot of stuff to do. And quite frankly, I want to get it over with. Okay. All right. See you, everybody. Thanks a lot. And I timed it